okay.
Well, welcome to Facebook Live, Vinnie Brand from the
Oh my God! Thank you, Linda.
Oh my God, this is so great. You know, you and I have one of the best people on the planet as an equal friend, Gladys Simon.
I love Gladys. I haven't talked to her in a while, and I hope she's doing well. She's doing well?
Yes. She lost Bob. We know that, but
I do know that.
she's done well recuperating, and she's still over at the Comic Strip Live coaching people like me.
That's great.
Yeah,
Are you in New York or LA?
I started in Southern California, but I'm from Portland, and I went to New York and New Jersey and Philly twice, and now I live in Vegas. Woo!
Oh, you gotta love Vegas.
I know.
Love it.
The comedians are my age. What's not to love?
Now, Linda, I met you, I want to say at Catch a Rising Star. Is that right?
Yep, a long time.
Yeah, I'm going to say it was 1991. I'm going to guess. I don't remember.
It was in the 90s. That's as close as I can get.
Yeah, it was in the 90s. And those were the days, right? I mean, that was the age of the great explosion of comedy and just people doing things that were just so unique. I remember Larry Ambrose doing a bit about cross-dressing, and the punchline. One of the punchlines is his mother is telling him to take off the dress, and he goes, "But Mom, Uncle Bob has a dress," and the mother goes, "Your Uncle Bobby has a beautiful, graceful gait." It was so funny. Anyway, so how long have you been doing your show like this?
I've just started this like 2 weeks ago, but I was with Harvey's Comedy Club in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
And I got to interview all the headliners that came through. And I did a podcast with another gal. And, it was like the old lady and the millennial doing a podcast.
That's fantastic. Now, I don't know how this became me interviewing you, but there's so much. I see you pop up on Facebook. It always makes me smile.
Oh.
So are you still doing a lot of stand-up yourself?
I am. I'm doing comedy here in Vegas, and I love teaching it to new people. I like finding people under a railroad track and saying, "You be perfect. Now come on."
Yeah. I was just talking to a young comic last night, and as it works out, he called me up. He was drunk, and he's on the phone with me. He's going, "I'm worried. I'm panicked, and what have I done?" And I said to him, "Listen, you're calling me up nervous, and your response to being nervous was to get drunk. You're going to be fine. You're a comic." Anyway.
This is all I can do. I figure a lot of people are really stressed out. And then the word stress came to my mind. Who else would I want to? You should know about stress.
Oh, I know about stress. And thank you. We've been doing this a long time. 1991 is when I opened the club.
Wow.
And, people ask me now, "Are you nervous?" And I tell them I'm not nervous. Because when I opened the club, I lived in a boarding house. I had no money and no reason to be, I won't even say successful, no reason to laugh. And we've managed to keep the plate spinning for a long time. And I'm not homeless currently. I anticipate that I won't end up homeless, hopefully. But I think we'll come out of this okay. It's just going to be a little bit of work.
Limited work, yeah. It's going to make people try to dig deep and be creative and reinvent. Who knows?
It is. Here's we were talking a little bit just in our exchanges, and I have a lot of business people call me up, and they're very nervous, they're very upset, and they keep saying, well, what's the government going to do for us? What's the government going to do for us? And what I tell people is, listen, the government didn't create you. You created the government. So stop looking for the government to save you. Roll your sleeves up, work within the system, and you'll be able to recreate what you've created once before.
That's right.
And I can't promise you that anyone will be successful. I can't promise you I'm going to make it. I can't promise you that guy's going to make it. I can promise you that the only people that will make it are going to be the ones that roll up their sleeves and try. So that's why my little message of quasi-hope to people is, listen, this is what makes us uniquely, I hate saying it, uniquely American, but we are uniquely American at this point, because where else can you do what is doable here? Really, not too many places. So
that's right.
I think there's hope. There's hope. It's just going to be a lot of work.
I think I could make a lot of money teaching Donald Trump to do an Alec Baldwin impression.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. And wouldn't that be refreshing? Now, politically, I have to assume that all entertainers are on the same side, right?
Yes.
But me, I'm right in the middle. And what I mean by that is, I don't look for government to be truly representative of any or of all of my ideas. So for me, no matter who's in office, they're entertaining to me.
Yes.
And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that in a way like, look, I do what I do inside the framework that I'm allowed to do it in, and the rest of it entertains me. They all entertain me because, they're all kind of self-serving, and it doesn't matter what side of the self-serving spectrum you fall on. No one's going to bed at night going, hey, is Vinnie okay?
It's like we were all on a ship together going somewhere, and then the port decided our ship wasn't going to go there. We're going somewhere else, and we don't know where we're going, but we're comics. We're all going to make it. We're going to find a way to laugh about this and make other people laugh about it.
I think that, I take what we do very, very serious, right? In other words, I tell my staff, listen, when that customer comes in the door, they're not just walking by and saying, hey, let's go see a comedy show. They're making a decision. Now, you don't have the luxury of knowing why someone's in your room. Some people are celebrating. Some people are mourning. Some people are just need to get away. But they're there for a reason. So comedians, comedy clubs, entertainment in general is an escape from or a journey to something at all times. So, yesterday I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I was filling out some paperwork, and I just put on some music. Music transcendental.
Yep, transcends. Absolutely.
Yeah, so, and comedy is that, right? You walk in my door, and you see what we do, what the comedian's doing, and you're laughing, and suddenly you're away from your trouble, or maybe you're in your celebration. But either way, comedians are going to be important for the national psyche and for a million different reasons. You just don't know why.
We might not get called heroes anymore for a while.
Say it again?
We might not get called heroes anymore at least for a while.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough.
Now, let me ask you something. Such a great topic. In the grand scheme of things, the comedian is only important to let important people take a break to do important things. That's all we're doing. Essentially, we're like important people are working. There's someone working right now on a vaccine, and he's like, God, I just can't think anymore. Let me turn Vinnie Brand on, and then that's all I'm doing. I'm not, I laugh when comedians get called important, and I go, I've said it forever. An important guy isn't busy writing another joke. An important guy is going, if I could just get this chromosome to do this, I can cure leukemia. That guy is definitely more important than me. So,
it's like it took a worldwide pandemic for people to realize that doctors and nurses are that important.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like,
and I'll tell you something funny. So the news now, we're off the election cycle, and we're on the coronavirus cycle. And I needed a break from the election cycle only because it started a day before the last election. And it's like, I just need to give me a break. So, it's now we all be current. And there are so many funny things that we have to see in this. Now, I'm not making this up. I was in Detroit, and I had to fly home. This is at the very beginning of the pandemic, and it hadn't been declared a pandemic yet. At this point, it was still no big deal. And, and out front of the Detroit Metro Airport was a woman with a mask on, and she has cut a hole in the mask, and through the hole in the mask, she's smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, I think you're using the mask wrong. I'm not sure, but I think you are. Anyway.
I bet some people are so hooked on their cigarettes, they'd even smoke through a tracheotomy.
Oh, yeah, you've seen it, Linda.
With an air tank.
Yeah, absolutely. In this pandemic, they've made a lot of things, non-essential, right? And which they have to do. But you can still buy cigarettes. I mean, I'm like, now, every news article says, if your lungs are damaged, this thing is worse. So you explain to me how someone hasn't turned cigarettes off, how someone hasn't said no more. And the only thing I can figure is if you turn cigarettes off, well, that would be the straw that broke the back, right?
I'm here in Vegas, and I was scared to death the day they shut down the casinos. I was like, oh, what are people going to, they're so hooked on gambling. What are they going to do?
Are your casinos still open?
No, they haven't been open for like a week and a half.
Yeah. They've been shut down here in Jersey. And I'm on, I don't know if you've ever done DraftKings. So, DraftKings is a lot of fun. I don't gamble, but DraftKings is fun. A $10 pool every week, and you can win, $11. Anyway, it's shut down. There's no sports. So DraftKings, just to keep their gamblers in, have all these different things you can bet on. How many times Joe Biden's going to say X, how many times Trump is going to tweet in a day. It's really, really funny. The gamblers are not stopping.
Oh, I have to get on that because that's how my mind thinks. I'm like, when is the next news conference? Now, really, what I want to know is when is this all going to end, and we're going to go back to whatever normal's going to be, the new normal.
Well, I have a feeling on the new normal, and this is what I believe. I believe the new short-term normal will be when they take the brakes off. For a certain amount of time, people go, I don't want to be around other people. And then within 24 hours of that, we'll be back to normal.
Yes.
Because it's like this. I mean, I still see people smoking. Even though if you get this virus and you smoke, it's almost a death sentence. So the psyche of the American public, and not to turn serious at all, we've been so spoiled for so long that this is jarring to us that the Starbucks is closed. Right?
Right.
And, I'm saying, look, we're going to go back to some type of normal, I think, relatively quick. And the day they have a vaccine, we'll be back to normal immediately.
Yes.
I didn't know what year the Spanish flu was until coronavirus. Now I know, 1918, that was a shitty year to be alive.
I didn't know the difference between a Spanish flea and a Spanish fly.
Well, you have to ask Cosby. Cosby could have explained that to you. By the way, did you ever get the? No, he was a superstar forever. Did you ever work with Cosby?
No, I didn't. I I got to go to Vegas and see him and sit like in the front row. He had me dying laughing, but never, no. Did you get, tell me about your history of your comedy.
Well, me personally, the comic or the club?
Both. I want to know
Okay, well,
first about you and then the club.
That's very sweet. Well, when I started, I already had 3 children. So I didn't have the money or the ability to go out and tour the country. And so I opened a club early on. Now, the reason I opened the club is that we were doing open mic at Rascals in Eatontown. And as it worked out, it was only one night a week. I fell in love with doing stand-up. So I opened another open mic in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And Rascals blackballed me. And they blackballed me pretty heavily. I mean, Louis Ferranda, Caroline Hirsch, who was more active at that time, all of them kind of said, hey, if you're going to run a mic, you can't get on a stage. So that mic eventually became the full-time club, and I took up what has become the longest-running residency in the history of entertainment. So from 1991 to today, I perform around, but only I'm very spoiled. So I go do what interests me and what I want to do. Now, being on my own stage all the time, I feel compelled to write all the time and stay sharp and stay diligent in producing new stuff. So the knowledge that people see me all the time makes me paranoid, and that they're not going to see the same thing.
Exactly.
So I've been a hyperactive writer for a very long time. Not all of it brilliant, but because I've written so much, I've been able to come up with stuff that I'm really proud of and that I really enjoy. So, and I've become so incredibly comfortable on stage that, I mean, I don't know if it's possible that anyone has done significantly more shows, because I'm doing, 3 and 4 sets a night for a long time.
Wow.
A very, very long time, yeah. And it's just become very sharp. Now, this year, I decided to start to maybe want to build out a little bit, right? And share it a little bit, because what we do is for me, it's very deeply personal, right? Like, if I go on stage and I say something that I know is going to be funny, and it's not, that's a deeply personal moment even today. So this year I said, okay, I'm gonna write more, and I'm gonna put out more. And now, of course, we're in a shutdown. So what I'm gonna do with them, I've been doing them. I'll do one tonight at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tonight on my Facebook, which is Vinnie Brand Comic. I'll do a live story, 20 minutes long, and I'm a storyteller anyway. So it's a new muscle to flex, to tell a story with no audience.
Yes.
I'm enjoying it. I've done 4 or 5 of them. They've been pretty well received. So I'll take this shutdown and try and carve out a new way and force myself to be able to intuitively know, without an audience reaction, what's going to be funny.
That's
I
amazing.
think it'll be fun. Challenging, right?
Yes, I think that's a good muscle that's good advice for every comic right now, to practice it with no audience and not need that feedback, and kind of know what the audience would be thinking, because we should know by now, You
should know. And here's what I tell young comics. If I hear you talking on stage and you're nervous, why should I believe your joke? Because if you're nervous, there's a part of you that's saying, I don't know if this is funny. So this is a time now where we can perform without that. Now, I did a couple of them, right? And I'm working, and I say, okay, I like how that story came out, but I'll still find myself saying to my technical assistant, hey, am I getting any hearts? Am I getting the hearts? Because the hearts are the new applause, right? If you see one heart, you're like, oh, I'm bombing. If you see a bunch of hearts, you know you're doing okay. And that's kind of funny to me. So tonight I'll do the story, and I'm going to try not to even find out if I'm getting hearts.
Wow. Susan Hirsch is on here.
Who is?
Susan Hirsch. She came on Facebook Live.
Now, refresh my memory. Who is Susan Hirsch?
I don't know. I thought she was somebody from your town that had another club.
Oh,
I must be wrong.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying Susie Yenga?
No, it says Susan Hirsch from Facebook. And I thought that there was another comedy club owned by the Hirsches that I thought you said.
I don't know. I can say, my big problem, Linda. So, I'm deaf. I can't hear.
I do know.
Yeah, I'm deaf. That's why this interview is with a headset. This is
to remind me you can't hear.
Yes. Well, it lets me hear you, right? So, this is the other reason. I tell comics, use what God or biology gave you. So when I'm on stage, I wear 2 hearing aids. Now the hearing aids are designed that if there's too much noise, they clamp down and they shut off excessive sound. So, when you get on stage, you want to hear laughter. So when I put these hearing aids in, I would be working and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing well. And then all of a sudden they shut down. And now I can't hear anything. And the first 50 times it happened, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm getting laughs or not. And then I realized, hey, if you can't hear anything, you're killing.
That's great.
Right. So, now, to liken that back to how that relates to Susan Hirsch. So because I can't hear, frequently when I meet people, they'll say their name. And I don't hear it, so I don't remember it. Now, you're a name that I met when my hearing was marginally better. And, of course, I'm trying to remember, and I can't for the life of me remember why I love you, but I can clear as a bell see you, clear as a bell in my head back then.
Yes.
I can see you at Catch a Rising Star. I can see the jeans you're wearing, the shirt you're wearing, and I can remember how you were very sarcastic and funny, but very, very nice. And you were just always pleasant. So
thank you.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a nice thing to think back because not everybody was, right? I mean, there was a little bit of a clique, and there were some people, guys and girls, that weren't always nice to everybody. Most of us were, I think, but there was a clique to break into, I think. But you were, and I'm telling you, I can see your hairdo, your hair behind your ear. I can see it like it was yesterday. And it's just, when you invited me on, I was so happy. So,
yeah, I went to Catch a Rising Star just a few times, and then I dropped out of the scene, and just I went there, and I even brought my daughter at the time. She was very young as a guest, and I tried, but the main thing is I wanted to get to know people, and wherever I go, I like being nice to people, because I don't know about you, but we've met a lot of people along the way that just only care about themselves.
Yeah, it's a it's a funny thing. I don't harbor any ill will, but there are people. Listen, I'm a very happy guy. I got a great family. The clubs have been running for a while, and I've met a lot of great people. you still would love to be able to put your name up on the marquee and pack the house, right?
Exactly.
It's a hard thing not to want. And there are a lot of people that I helped that could have helped me back, and then they lose your number.
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, well, you know, are you mad? Are you disappointed? And I'm not. I just know that there are a lot of, like you're saying, very self-interested people. And so I gravitate towards the ones that aren't. You know, Rich Voss. Do you know Rich Voss?
No.
Rich Voss is a guy in this business who he's been doing it forever, and he is just an absolute sweetheart. And if I called Rich Voss up and said, Rich, can you make a phone call? If he knew the head of ABC, and I said, Rich, could you call the head of ABC for me? He would go, yes, and then he would make the call.
Wow.
And Tom Cotter, another great guy, Bob Marty, Jim Brewer. There's a lot of great guys. I never asked for help from Ray Romano, but a great guy. Ray is a sweet guy. And, you know, so there's a lot of very good people, and I prefer to just focus on them. And I don't name the scumbags unless they're dead, Bob Hope. Anyway, the thing is, that was a joke. That was a So, you know, who were your favorites? Who were your favorite guys or girls to work with?
I got to meet Rita Rudner.
Yeah.
And to me, she's like an enigma. She's like what Russia used to be in the good old days. Like when we were like, we hate, you know, like we'll never be a Russia. We don't want to be a Russia, but there's something mystical going on over at Russia. You know, I can't figure out I could watch her 1,000 times, but getting to meet her and talk to her. And I told her something funny and she wanted to use it in her comedy. And I'm like, you can have it. The honor is that you liked it. Yeah, right. Please take it.
And so she's very nice.
She sat and talked to everybody that came to the venue that night. Everybody. If they were in a wheelchair, she was on her knees next to them talking.
It's so sweet. You know, I just worked with, the entire Wayans family. And I'll tell you what, I mean, they are among the nicest, most pleasant, most down to earth, and they're all, you know, pretty wildly successful. And young Damon was in the club, young Damon Jr. And you know, I hadn't met him before, so I wasn't sure. Is he going to be nice? Is he going to be privileged? What is he? And I have to tell you, it was just amazing to watch this young, let's call him a comedic scion, right? I mean, pleasant, down to earth, hardworking. And there was a kid in the club, and he had, Damon Jr. had a 5 a.m. pickup flight, and it's now 12:30 at night. He's got 3.5 hours to go sleep and then go home. And there's a kid in the club who's multiply disabled, and he's with his family, and he's walking out. Damon's walking out, and he sees the guy, and I said, hey, I go, would you mind taking a photo? Now, he had already said yes to everybody. He had already taken 45 minutes of photos, and you can see he's very tired, and he looks over and goes, absolutely. And he goes over, and he talks to the kid, and he gets down on his knee because the kid's in a wheelchair, taking pictures. And I texted his father. I said, I got to tell you, you should be so proud of that kid, because he could have just said, hey, man, I'm tired, or taken one photo and moved on. So, you know, it's nice to hear Rita Rudner's like that. You know, Marvin Wayans, Damon Wayans, Sean Wayans, Keenan Ivory Wayans, some of the nice, just taking photos, and just good people. And so it's nice. Lily Tomlin, I met Lily Tomlin. I did a gig in Red Bank, and she did a gig in Red Bank. And I didn't even know she was in town, and I'm pretty sure she didn't know I was in town, and I've never met her before. And I walk into this hotel lobby bar, and I look and I go, oh my God, that's Lily Tomlin. So I'm with another comic. I go, I'm going to go say hi. He goes, no, just leave her. And I go, no, I'm going to go say hi. And I walk over and I go, hey, I'm a big fan. I was in town working. She spends 15 minutes talking to me. We take a picture together. Just a lovely, lovely exchange with, iconic, right? And Seinfeld. Did you meet Seinfeld ever?
Never. I wish, because he's hooked up with the comic strip live. I would have loved to have met him, but I never met him.
He came into the club 2.5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And he did a show. He did an episode of his show. And before the show, I said to him, hey, I said to his assistant, can I get a photo with Jerry before he leaves? And yeah, we'll make it happen. Now, listen, I'll tell you. Jerry Seinfeld's one of the most successful comics in the history of the business, right? So he doesn't need new friends.
No.
And I'm very keenly aware that I don't want to try and become a new friend. Although, Jerry, if you happen to watch this, I would love to be friends. So I love you. So I go to bring him up. I say, hey, how do you want me to bring you up? And he goes, let's make it good for you and tell people that, we're old friends and this is one of my favorite clubs, which was already nice.
Wow.
He does the show. I'm talking to customers, which I do every show. And I turn around and I go, hey, I want to get a picture with Jerry. And they go, well, he already left. I was like, I didn't get my picture with Jerry. Linda, 5 minutes later.
What?
They come in, they go, hey, Jerry Seinfeld is here to take the photo. He left the club. And then he must have realized he didn't take the photo with me. He drove back to get the photo for me.
What?
That's just beyond nice, right?
That's so
beyond
wonderful. Nice. That's great.
Yeah.
I've been in New York 3 different times, in the 90s and twice in the last 4 years. And I was just making the circuit, and I was even going out down there with Comedy Pete down in the Village, trying to bark for Al Martin and all his clubs and Comic Strip. And I walked into the Olive Tree one day, and I saw Dave Attell up at the bar. He never smiles, really. And so I said, you don't know me, but I want a picture with you. I know Gladys Simon. That usually breaks the ice. And Gladys had told me he's a nice guy. So I said, you don't know me, and can I get a picture? And he said, sure. But you could tell he was a little hesitant. So I said, now I want you to look in this camera, and I want you to act like you really want to be with me. You got it? Click. And the picture I have of him today, I should send it to you. He's got the biggest blank-eating grin on his face that you ever saw.
Oh, that's so nice. Dave's a really sweet guy.
That's what I hear.
He's a very sweet guy. He's quiet. He's a quiet guy. He's a very, very... I really love Dave a lot. And...
I have to tell Vinnie, the next day I was over by Stand Up New York waiting for a show. And I was in a little restaurant right on Broadway or whatever, and a block away. And in walked Dave Attell the day after I did the thing with the camera. And I go, oh, Dave, are you following me or am I following? I don't know. And he goes, he couldn't believe I was there in a different part of New York from the day before. And he said he had to go because he had a car of guys waiting. But then he turned around and he thought like Jerry Seinfeld. He thought. And he came back in and he said, and by the way, ma'am, he called me ma'am. He goes, by the way, ma'am, anything on the menu, order it. It's on me. And he left.
Oh, my, yeah.
And I still choke up.
Let me tell you, he's the nicest guy. I'll tell you a great story. Not that your story wasn't great. Your story is great.
No, please top it.
Well, I was at Stand Up New York. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing a spot. It's a Tuesday night. And, 20 25 people in the room. And I'm a regular there, and so I'm going to go up and do my 15 minutes. And you know how it works. If you're on stage and someone big walks in, they flash the red light, get off stage. So I go on stage, and I'm on stage about 3 minutes, and I connected with the audience right away, having a very good show, really enjoying myself, and the red light comes on. And so I'm on stage, and I go, I'm not getting off. I don't know who's here, but I don't care. I'm not getting off. And the audience is, you know. So now they're flashing the red light. And I'm on stage, and I'm going, hey, I'll never forget it. I'm going, I don't care. Turn it into a disco light. I don't care how often you flash it. This audience loves me. I'm not getting off. The audience is going, yay! and now I swear, the lights, they're like, get off! And in my head, I said, well, I better get off stage. And I said, listen, I go, I don't know who's here. I go, but I automatically can tell you, he's not going to be as funny as me. He's just bigger than me. And I kid around, and everybody laughs. And I walk off stage and go in the other direction. There's a guy, I don't even pay attention. And the club is tiny. And I say to the guy in the booth, who the F is it? And he goes, Robin Williams. And I'm like, oh my God. Right? So Robin Williams is up on stage and he goes, hey, sorry to disappoint you all. I know that last guy was killing you. And now I'm in the back. I'm like, oh my God. So he does 15 minutes and murders. And he says to the audience, I know a lot of times, when I get off stage, people want to come out and take photographs. I want you to do me a favor. I'm going to hang outside for a while. I want you to watch the next couple guys. They're all terrific comics. I want you to watch them. So I'm out at the bar, and he comes out, and I walk up to him and go, hey, man, I'm really sorry I didn't get off stage right away. I was just clowning around. And I go, I obviously didn't know it was you. And he goes, he knew my name. He goes, Vinnie, he goes, I told the guy to let you finish. I was really enjoying what you were doing, which he doesn't have to say. Now, wait, this is one of my favorite, it's really such a touching story. So I said, when he said that, I jokingly said, well, I did kind of think, who the hell does this guy think he is, right? And he laughed and he goes, listen, he goes, out in Hollywood, I have a job. You can keep this one. So we laughed. And now we're talking. And 5 minutes becomes 10. And it's a genuine conversation. Yeah. It's a real, down-to-earth, normal, like he knew me forever conversation. So as we're talking, this little older woman comes out, and she has her camera, and she says, Mr. Williams, would you mind if I took your photo? And he goes, no photos. And he grabs the camera out of her hand, snatches it out of her hand. And the woman is shocked, and I'm like, oh my God. And he hands the camera to me, and he puts his arm around the woman, and he goes, now we take the photos. And I'm taking the photos, and he's kissing her, and he's hamming it up, and take another one. Vinnie, take another one. I take about, 8 or 9 photos, 10 photos. He hands it back to her. She's floating on cloud 9. And we continue talking. Now, we talked for, I'm not kidding you, 35 minutes. So, I got to go home. And in my head, I'm going, I can't believe that I'm about to tell Robin Williams I got to get going. Okay? So I go, listen, I'm not trying to be your new best friend. I got to take off. I'm going to get a slice of pizza before I get home. Would you like to get a slice of pizza with me? You're more than welcome to join me. He goes, man, Vinnie, he goes, I had so much fun talking to you. He goes, I'm going to leave too. I'm doing Letterman tomorrow. That's why I'm in town. He goes, but the next time I'm in New York City, you come grab me and we'll get that pizza.
Oh, wow.
Now, I got thanks a lot. We shake hands. I take a photo. I leave. Now, he died 3 years later. And I was talking to a comic, and for the life of me, I can't remember who it is, but they were friends of Robin Williams, like really, friends. And I told him that story. He goes, I'm going to tell you something. He goes, I don't know if it's going to make you feel good or bad. He goes, but if Robin Williams hadn't died and you ran into him, he he would have remembered everything about that night, and he would have had pizza with you. I said, well, it makes me feel good, obviously. And he goes, well, I don't know, it makes some people feel bad because they miss him even more. But it was such a sweet moment. And, you know, I'll never forget it because, you know, from every part of that story, when I walked out of that room to say hi to him, he said, hey, get away from me, jackass, you wouldn't get off stage. Sweet guy.
That's a great story. I love that. I want to tell you, I'm sure you remember David Brenner, the great David Brenner.
Yep.
Well, he was playing at the Golden Nugget, like in the early, mid-90s, and I was there with my daughter, and I walked through, and I saw, I thought, I don't know if I want to go watch a show, but I went up to the VIP booth, and I saw the free monitor of him doing his shtick. And he was reading a newspaper, the ads, just making fun of all the stuff in the paper. And I was mystified that anybody could take the newspaper when they're on stage and make it oh my gosh. So the TV was on a loop, Vinnie. So I stood there and watched it like 7 or 8 times, trying to figure it out, like, you know, like we used to do with Russia. And I was sitting there going over this. All of a sudden, I remember somebody tapping me on my shoulder. And it was David. And he had been watching me watch him. And he goes, how do you like the guy on the screen? And I go, oh my God. And
Tremendous.
And he let me run jokes by him on the old MySpace. And I'd send him a joke and he goes, yeah, terrible premise, or it doesn't have a punchline. It's so fun he would let me run jokes by him just because he met me.
That is tremendous. Tremendous. It's, you know, I think that, I think one of the things that may come out of this is, believe it or not, a new old camaraderie.
Yeah.
You know, I remember going to the comic strip, the Cellar, stand-up, and you hung with these guys, and that was your night. You went out, you did your spot, you maybe did 2 or 3 spots, and you hung out. And because of Facebook and YouTube and podcasting, now you do your spot, and you got to go get your podcast done. You got to go get your whatever done.
Yes.
So there's less, I think, of a hangout, and there's a congealing of groups. So there's, you know, say the Joe Rogan group, and Rogan's a guy that has been incredibly generous to the art of stand-up and incredibly influential in helping a lot of people. Very nice guy. I would love to do his podcast someday, but he's one of those guys that has been really, really instrumental in helping people. And so he's always had that camaraderie, but because everyone wants to be famous, everyone's trying to figure out what they should and shouldn't do, and it's kind of eroded that natural, almost barrier-free association, right? I'm up there doing it, you're doing it, she's doing it, he's doing it. We're all trying to break through, but you're breaking through for this little audience, one audience at a time, and then you're in the back room, either commiserating with a bad set, over a bad set, or celebrating a great set. So I think because of this quarantining, when we get back to the clubs, I think there'll be a reemergence. I hope there'll be a reemergence of that, hey, we're all in it together, let's really help each other type moment. And let's enjoy each other's company. More than help each other, enjoy each other's company.
Yes.
You know, when I get together with Tom Cotter, and it's not as often as I like, but Tom Cotter is one of those guys, when you sit down with him, you're sitting with a friend. And he's not trying to get ahead on you. He's not trying to get you ahead. He's spending time with you. And, you know, our business is has moved a little bit away from that, I think. So it's nice to see it maybe come back.
Me too. I agree. You've been so wonderful to come on. I know you have 1,000 other things you could do besides be on this, and I appreciate it, and I've loved talking with you. And so
I love it.
I have people on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, about 14,000 people. So if they want to all follow you at the same time, like not down the street, but like on social media, can you plug them in where to follow you at?
I would love that. On Facebook, it's a Vinnie Brand Comic. And that's my fan page. You have to have a fan page. I don't mean to make it sound like you should be a fan, but my other page is maxed out on friendship. I have so many close friends on my regular page. So it's Vinnie Brand Comic. On Twitter and Instagram, it's Vinnie_Brand. And I tell people all the time, especially young comics, and I mean this, it doesn't matter to me if 14,000 people save it, I hope they do. If you ever are in my town, or if you need something, my phone number is 908-601-6976. Now people say to me, well, you're insane. Well, why would you give your number out?
Oh.
And I'll tell you why. The world is a small place. And if there's somebody that needs help someday and I can deliver that help, well, you need a phone number. And, I really believe that if we all help each other a little bit, it just gets easier, right? So, again, Vinnie Brand Comic, Vinnie_Brand on Twitter and Instagram. And I would love it if you tune in tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm going to tell a story. And then if you need my cell phone number, 908-601-6976. And Linda, you need to save that number.
I will. I'll go back and write it down. It's hard for me to sign off when I'm choking up. You just made me tear up inside. It's like I have a lump.
That's very, very sweet.
You're
and
so...
thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much, Vinnie Brand. Thank you, and we'll see you later on Facebook. And if I'm ever in the area, I'll call your cell. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. That was wonderful. What a sweetheart. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe him that he's willing to give out his home and his cell phone numbers. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go cry. See you guys later. Bye.